back to another video. That's right, today we're talking about Iron Man. Sorry, that was a bad joke, and you probably couldn't even hear me in that thing. Hello, and welcome back to another video. Today we're talking about Ant-Man. We are carrying on with my Marvel MCU series reviews. And that's right, the next film up is Ant-Man. So, yeah, just going to do the normal. We're just going to go over this movie and I'm going to give it a mark at the end of the video. So, Ant-Man 2016. Or 2015 even. Sorry, got the year wrong. This film had quite a big job to do following up Avengers Age of Ultron. Even though that film wasn't amazing, it still had to follow up an Avengers movie. So, let's have a look at this film. Ant-Man stars Mr. Paul Rudd, Michael Douglas, Evangeline Lilly, and also has a surprise cameo from Anthony Mackie, and seems our new superhero, Mr. Scott Lang, who's just got out of prison, take on Hank Pym's old Ant-Man suit as he has to bring down a new Marvel villain, Yellow Jacket. Yeah, it's kind of a standard kind of origin story for the MCU. You know, the MCU have done quite a few now. I think this one here, you know, when it came out, there was a bit of controversy about it because Mr. Edgar Wright was originally signed on to direct it, and then he left the project because he wanted it to be its own thing. How do I feel about all this? If Edgar Wright had done this film, would it have been better? Absolutely. Would it be more memorable than what it is? Absolutely. However, I don't like the fact it wouldn't have been connected. The whole point of the MCU is everything eventually ties together. And that's what I like about the MCU. And it works really well for the MCU. And, you know, if Edgar Wright had a sign on to this, we wouldn't have got Baby Driver. And then he might have got tied down with the MCU, which I really am pleased hasn't happened to him, because we might not have got things like Last Night in Soho. So I'm really pleased in a way that he didn't direct it. However, we do have Peyton Reed directing this. Now, while I love Peyton Reed's episode of The Mandalorian, his two Ant-Man films have been very much so on the generic side of filmmaking. I don't know why people give John Watts such a harsh time for doing the Spider-Man films. People saying he's so generic. I really don't think he is. I think he's really good at doing these big blockbuster you know, superhero movies. Peyton Reed is the one, to me, that's just really middle-of-the-road generic. There's not really much vision or style to this movie. Like, the cinematography is very average. The colour palette, very average. The editing, very average. What carries this film are the actors and the characters, because the characters are all super fun. Scott Lang is just incredibly fun, a really, really cool character to get behind. I love Hank Pym and his daughter, Hope. And to be honest, I really like the little Ant-Man crew, which is led by Michael Pena. And yeah, they pretty much just lead this movie. And it is all to do with fantastic actors as well. First off, Paul Rudd is brilliant in this role. He is one of my favourite human beings on the planet. Michael Douglas is such a classy actor that having him part of the MCU still blows my mind. And you can tell he has a blast making these movies. I think it was at the premiere for the second one, he said how much he enjoys doing these films. And, you know, Evangeline Lilly's great. Michael Pena's fantastic. Anthony Mackie appears in this one, of course, as Falcon. That's also a great actor. There's a great cast here. I would love to say that everyone does a great job, but I feel like the villain, Yellow Jacket, is not very well written. He's one of the most forgettable MCU villains. And I don't think the actor helps too much. I think he overplayed some of those angry scenes a little bit. But nevertheless, I think that the characters and actors, for the most part, are fantastic. I also think that the actress who plays Scott Lang's daughter is fantastic. She's even better in the second one, but we'll get to that one eventually. Yeah, the plot itself is quite generic, but they have a lot of fun with it. And one thing I do love about this movie is Ant-Man's powers. Visually, I think they actually captured that really well. In terms of creating something unique, I think that's the most creative thing, or, you know, I don't know. It's the most character Peyton Reed put into this movie is through the visuals for Ant-Man, when he shrinks and grows through the camera work and the way that they chose to make it look visually, and the sound effects as well. It all goes together quite well, and it's really fantastic there. And you can tell they have a lot of fun in some scenes where, you know, they have the fight on the Thomas the Tank Engine track. Stuff like that's really fun. So I think you can tell it feels very similar to the first Doctor Strange film, which again we'll get to soon, where they're teasing all this wackiness that they can do with Ant-Man. It's an origin story. They're just dipping their toes in the water here. Unfortunately, they don't run with it in the second one. I'm hoping they will in the third one. But here they're dipping their toes in the water to see how much they can sort of get away with, because it's still quite early days for the weird, wacky Marvel stuff. But for the most part, this film is really fun, I gotta say. It doesn't blow me away, and honestly, I think there is a film in here which could have blown people away. I just think that the director holds it back. I don't think there's a... I don't want to sound too harsh on him, because I haven't seen anything outside of his Ant-Man and Mandalorian work. And I thought his Mandalorian episode was incredible, to be fair. But the two Ant-Man films so far, he hasn't shown that drive to create a movie as unique as a lot of other Marvel movies. But yeah, as I say, it is fun. You've got a very, very, you know, tight plot. The pacing's good. The length of the movie's good. So it runs fine, this movie. And great comedy from Marvel in this one. Great visuals. The score, it's alright. I love Ant-Man's theme. So yeah, there's enough good stuff in here. I'm going to give Ant-Man a 7 out of 10. So yes, there we go. That's it for this video, guys. As always, I hope you've enjoyed it. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like the video, and leave a message. And as always, I'll see you next time for another video. Bye-bye.